welcome to another video on TCGplayer. We won the die roll. This is with Vintage Dredge. Just serum powder our hand. Generally something is that some people have always asked me, well, are there any hands that you don't serum powder? And pretty much never, because your deck actually isn't operating at peak efficiency in terms of actually getting your Bazaar if you're not. It's possible, I guess it's possible you could see a hand that you don't want to serum powder that might have like 4 bridges or something absurd like that, but in general you're pretty much always going to serum powder because, you know, you might hit more serum powders later and you might not be in a situation where you need a piece. For example, like you can win a game without a dread return or a dread return target. You can win a game without therapies. You know, you just have to go the other way. Like if you don't have therapies, then you need to have to kill them fast. If you don't have dread return, you just want to pick their whole hand apart. So Mock Sapphire to start off. We're missing one dredge. We're missing one bridge, sorry, and 4 dredgers, but I do have a dredger in my hand. And I do have a Bloodghast, hoping that we can potentially draw into a land here. That way we can maybe kill him next turn. Or an Icarid or a bridge. Something, just cards that we actually want in our graveyard, or a land. Land is nice. And Mindbreak Trap doesn't actually give me that much protection, but could give me some protection next turn. So we're just going to discard Bloodghast, Stinkweed Imp, and a bridge. Go to our upkeep. Activate. We are going to... I guess I can make this big so people can see. I normally just play from here, but I guess for the stream purposes, we'll do it this way, which is not the way I normally do it, which is going to make it kind of interesting. Grave Troll, so we have 4 Bloodghast. That's interesting. Discard, discard, discard. Okay, we really just want to hit therapies here, so we don't die next turn. So let's go ahead and Dredge Troll. So we hit 4 therapies and 4 Bloodghast. That's pretty hilarious, actually. We can just take his entire hand, which is kind of absurd. And you say, oh, like I got lucky, but really not even. There's a lot of different things that can happen there. Like had I hit like a colored land, I could hit a Fate Stitcher, or I could just hit a Dread Return on Culligan with more bridges. I actually don't have enough bridges to kill him this turn, so I'll go ahead and start with a therapy. He might concede in response. This happens pretty normally. He's going to actually pay 2 life to Mental Misstep it. Okay. I will Dread Return him again. And with the Petrified Field, I have a guaranteed land drop next turn. I can just return this Bazaar. What do I care about most? I can only get to strip 2 cards if I miss here. So I can either pick a card that is either very highly likely to be in his hand, or I can pick a card that could maybe beat me. But I think I'm going to go with the high likelihood of being in his hand and also can disrupt me. So I'm just going to name Force of Will, see what's in his hand. He's got 2 Force of Wills and a defense grid, which is interesting because normally defense grid, he's got Mental Misstep and Force of Will. He kept a really defensive hand this game, but he's got Mental Misstep and Force of Will, so it's kind of a weird spot where we know that he's kind of a fair deck, but at the same time he's got defense grid and Grim Monolith, probably playing some sort of Tezzeret, or Tezzeret, whatever you call it, the Tezzeret decks these days. So I have a free line to just Dread Return Culligan here. Doesn't really do much, but I don't have much reason not to, honestly. So I'm just going to do it. I think this way, if he draws something like Toxic Deluge, he's just dead. Because he kills Culligan, I get more zombies. And I have a Mindbreak Trap, even in case he draws like Ancestral Recall. So yeah. It's kind of funny with 2 Dread Returns there. if I had a Golgari Grave Troll in my graveyard, I could have actually, like, maybe killed him, but okay. So we're against an artifact deck. I mean, normally when I'm sideboarding, pretty much almost in every matchup I board in the entire sideboard. Now that I have Hollow One and Gurmag Angler as kind of like my fish plan. So let's board in everything. I might not play Anglers against this guy, because if he's kind of like a combo control deck, I find Anglers to be a little slow. So generally what I do is if they're a deck that's not, he's not playing, he might have a Strip Mine, but he's probably not playing Wasteland, so we can cut the 2 Petrified Field, they don't really do much. We're going to cut 2 Thug, and then we just cut on cards like, you just trim a little bit, because I find that, you know, they're going to have a lot of graveyard hate, so cards like Bloodghast are a lot worse, because they don't, like, get you start Dredge, disrupt them, or, like, attack them. So we cut 1 Bloodghast, 1 Icarid, we're going to cut 4 Mindbreak Traps, and the Fate Stitches are just for being fast in game 1. He's not a creature deck, so we cut the Elesh Norn and a Dread Return. Now we're down to 61 cards, and this is where it gets kind of interesting. I don't love going below 10 Dredgers. Sometimes I go to 9, but it's just a situation where you lose a lot of games where you just like have everything else but no Dredger. Sometimes I like to board out Serum Powder, but that's only in a case where my opponent has showed me so much, or it's a really tough matchup where I just need to like have a 6 or 7 card hand, because a lot of times in the post-board games you want as many cards in your hand as possible, because like with Bazaar that finds you, you know, your Nature's Claims and your Ingot Chewers. So mulliganing down really low is not that great, which makes Serum Powder a lot worse, and just like having an actual card in your deck is important compared to a Serum Powder. So I'm actually just going to cut a Gurmag Angler. I think I saw the Grim Monolith. I don't know. It's possible he's playing a blue control deck, but if he's playing an unfair deck, I'm not in love. Like, Gurmag Angler is kind of weird. It's just so much slower than Hollow One. I think maybe I don't want that many in my... because it seems like that's a lot of Gurmag Anglers when they don't really come into play that often. He's going to Dark Ritual, so he is a combo deck, which I expected, but it's weird. Like, Dark Ritual and Mental Misstep and Forcible in the same deck, that's just not... I mean, I know it's been a while since I played, but I'm pretty sure he's not Storm. He's Bargain. Okay, that makes some amount of sense, so I guess I'm just dead. And I should have Mindbreak Traps in my deck, which is my mistake. Like, it definitely felt like he was combo-y, but not like the kind of combo deck that I want the traps against. Like I thought it was artifact based, but that was just stupid. It was just 1 monolith. I don't know. Does Yawgmoth's Bargain really play Forcible and Mental Misstep? I'm just dead. Doesn't really matter what I discard, honestly. That is a shame, though. Because if I had a Mindbreak Trap, I don't think it's possible. I could have had it instead of something else. I'm just going to scoop. There's no way I'm not going to die here. No reason to waste time. Deny my opponent some satisfaction, I guess, but... So we want the Mindbreak Traps. Generally against Storm, I actually like the Fate Stitches just because they're so fast. So what I'm going to do is, I actually think against a Storm deck, like, it's just Hollow One, and it's one of the few matchups that you don't want Hollow One or Angler. And I'd rather just try to fight through the hate while also being very fast. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the Fate Stitches back in. It's just crazy not to have Fate Stitches against the Storm deck, because it just increases the amount of time you win a turn earlier, ideally on turn 2, by a high percentage. So that's what we're going to run. Feel really stupid for not having the traps, and that's just kind of the thing about Vintage, is sometimes it's really hard to know what your opponent's on. I don't have a Dredger. I do have the Salvage, actually. So this is a reasonable hand. You look at this kind of hand and you're like, yeah, like I don't have an answer to Cage, but I do have a Therapy which can disrupt him. And when you have the lands already, like a lot of the times, Bazaar, I have 7 cards to destroy an artifact in my deck. So, since I have the lands to cast them, I'm not really that worried about a cage. Like, yeah, if he keeps 7, he might have a cage or whatever. But at the same time, I'm looking to, you know, I've got a lot of looks, and if he's got a cage, that means he's got less cards to combo with. So it might give me like an extra half turn or whatever to find what I need. Okay, don't love this. Grim Monolith. I'm not going to activate in response because I'd rather just counter like whatever he plays at the end, like a paradoxical outcome. Go for the Mind Break Trap. He's got a Tinker. I'm actually not that scared of that unless it's a Memory Jar. I actually routinely beat a Tinker into Blightsteel on this turn of the game, though it might be a little difficult because I don't actually have that many good cards. Like, I don't have many Dredgers. I suppose I can just discard... Snark Amoeba. Oh. Guess I'll discard the Bloodghast. If it's a Blightsteel, I can probably beat it pretty easily. If it's a Memory Jar, I might just lose. People actually, I think, over-tinker against Dredge because they think that getting a Blightsteel is going to be good enough. It's only like when you have the Time Walk that it's insane. But right now, actually... Oh, he's got a Tormod's Crypt too. That's pretty bad. Because I'm probably just going to die. It's pretty unfortunate, actually. But yeah, that's definitely right. I mean, I don't know if he even has a Memory Jar, but if he's got the Tormod's Crypt too, it's not that much I can do about this. So I guess I Dredge. Really hoping to hit stuff to force him. But yeah, I think I'm just dead. I can't... If I Nature's Claim, there's really nothing... Oh, actually, no, I'm not dead. If he lets the Bloodghast get into play. So, let's see if he lets the Bloodghast in play. Because I could... actually win. Because now... I have to Nature's Claim this. Now I need to find a bridge, and I live. And my graveyard actually, honestly, he's going to let that resolve, which is smart. So if I find a bridge, I can then therapy and have a zombie. Then try to set up the kill next turn. But it's just, I'm on a bridge or nothing else, I think. Bridge? Bridge would be sick. We missed. Yeah, so I'm dead. Man, we almost beat that. Like, it sounds ridiculous, but if I had a bridge, like, I get the 2/2, I block, I go to 9 poison, probably can kill him next turn. If not, create enough blockers to not die. But yeah, we're dead. Happens. It's a nice, fast, clean match. Really wish I had those. Really wish I had those Mind Break traps, because that's the reason they're in. But that's a good beat.